blew up after that.
Yeah, and I was full time. I was waiting for it. Finally got a TV, and once that happened, I was all in. Before that, I was just watching K1, which was on ESPN sometimes, and whatever.
3 in the morning.
Yeah, whatever UFC I could get my hands on, but I was pretty much all in on MMA at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good thing right there. On the show today, for all you guys tuning in, Drew Dober, UFC Drew Dober, majority of the time lightweight, welterweight. Drew Dober just fought at UFC on Fox 27, beating Frank Camacho. Great guy. So we'll
Fight
have
of the night, actually.
Yeah, fight of the night. We'll have him on the show in just a short while. But this weekend you had UFC Bellum with Lyoto Machida defeating what's his name?
Anders?
Anders.
Yeah.
Good fight. I mean, a split decision, close fight, but I think majority of the rounds I would probably give it to Lyoto.
Yeah.
He came in and he bested the young guy, undefeated young guy. He was 9-0.
Yeah. I mean, no, it was a very close fight, and I agree with you. I did give it for Machida.
Yeah.
I actually picked Anders to win, but Machida surprised me. But then again, like you would want Machida to kind of walk away because he's at that point in his career where because prior to that, he's getting knocked out lately a lot.
Yeah.
But with these guys, like once they win a fight, it gives them like this false sense of hope that they can, keep fighting, keep winning.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want him to just I want fighters just to win, and then when they know that, they just walk away.
Because it is kind of getting to that point for him.
Yeah,
it is. Even though he's still
it's kind of
in great shape.
Yeah, it's hard to watch him fight because he may be not too old, but in fighting miles, he's old,
and he does take a lot more damage nowadays.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is, and I think his next fight he wants Michael Bisping.
It's a good fight. I mean, both guys are at the same point of their career. I think, even though Michael Bisping came and was champion not too long ago, I think those two guys are at the same level.
Yeah, I think
that'd be a good fight for both guys.
Yeah, and I think Bisping, if he's not officially retired yet, he's not officially retired, but if he's not completely retired yet, he's got one more fight in him. He's not fighting on the England card, but I don't know if he's interested in Lyoto. Lyoto's interested in that fight.
I think it's a good fight for Michael.
I think so.
And I think Michael wants Vitor. Does Michael still want Vitor?
He wanted Vitor, but I don't think he's interested in Vitor anymore. I don't know. He's not saying anything now. Now it's just like he's not fighting on England. That's pretty much where he left it. But he's not calling anybody out.
Yeah, I think Machida would be a perfect fight for him.
I think it'd be a good fight. I think for both of them, I think it's a winnable fight for either one of them.
Yeah, it's a competitive fight.
Competitive fight for where they're at in their careers. I like that one.
Yeah, why not? Book it.
Yeah, but also on the card you had Valentina Shevchenko defeating Priscilla Kohira.
Showcase, what's his name?
Yamasaki.
Yamazaki's great refereeing skills.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you on the fight. We don't ever really see people throwing the towel, but was this one fight where you would like to have seen her corner throwing the towel, or are you on Yamasaki's side, and where he came out with a statement saying that, he asked her during some moments, to fight back, and she would at least get into defensive positions and block certain things, like every time he would mention it, so she was still in the fight. But he was like, I let her be a warrior or whatever. People are getting on Yamasaki's case right now, especially like Dana White. Even Ariel was just calling him that, saying that he should never fight a referee again.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I mean, it should be the referee's job is to protect the fighter from his or her own safety, to make sure they're okay, to make sure that they don't take too much damage. And I don't agree with the referee asking or telling the fighter, or even asking the fighter if they're okay or to defend themselves. I think he's there to defend them or to make sure they're okay. And the punishment that I've seen happen, I think it should have been stopped a long time ago. I think I think fighters want to stay in there and they show a lot of heart, but that fight is going to probably cause some damage in the future. If not now, maybe later. But I think their corners should throw the towel in. I think it's going to be competitive and want your fighter to win, but you should ultimately put their health and safety first.
Yeah, we almost never see fighters corners throw in the towel. Like it almost never happens. It's like I
It
think
happens in boxing, right?
happens in boxing, and it's happened a couple of times in MMA where the corner will tell the official like, hey, they're not coming out
Yeah.
this round. You know what I mean?
But the skill level was so far apart.
Yeah, yeah. But like it happened in St. Pierre and BJ Penn, that super fight
Yeah.
happened in there. He didn't come out for the fourth or the 5th
Mhm.
and he could have, but Perillo, who was in his corner, was like, no, we're not letting him come out.
Yeah.
So I mean, should corners also care more about their fighters?
I mean, I think so. I think the competitive. I mean, because a fighter can always fight another day, but if you care about your fighter, then you should care about their safety, because it might not affect them today or tomorrow, but long term, those effects it's going to come back and haunt them, and then what?
Yeah. I'm okay with. Well, I'm okay with the corners throwing in the towel from time to time if it's a necessary situation. If it's it looks like their fighter is gonna. There's no way he's gonna win and just taking more damage. It's up to the coach and it's up to the fighter, but I think it's something that maybe we should see a little bit more from time to time. In terms of Mario Masaki, I don't know. I mean, I've never had too much of an issue with him in his officiating. I mean, I can't personally remember a whole lot of like
There's been some
times.
bad ones.
There were some bad ones, but like I think what's the other one?
Mazzagatti.
He had a lot more like moments where I was like, oh yeah, but
The guy was just dunce.
yeah, but Yamasaki was not from time to time, but I don't remember him being too much of an issue. I don't know, but maybe that's that's me not keeping track. I don't know.
His name has been brought up a lot in the past, but I mean, his job is. I mean, he's the person that's there for their safety. So
Yeah.
he shouldn't know without asking or telling the fighter to defend themselves. He should recognize that they're in trouble and then stop the fight. There's no
Yeah.
need to tell a fighter to defend himself or herself.
Yeah.
He should recognize that they're in a bad spot and they're getting unnecessary damage and stop the fight. That's what his job's for.
I think so too. Let me check the thing.
You got 5 minutes left.
There's kind of UFC scrambling to get a main event set for that card, which is in Vegas. You have co-main event as Struve and Arlovsky. It's not too strong of a card overall, but especially that co-main event is not really the strongest main event, even if you put it in Vegas. With Holloway out, there were talks that
Nate Diaz, right?
No, not Nate Diaz. It looks like Brian Ortega is the front runner to get the fight with Frankie, and it was almost a for sure thing. I think it was tweeted out earlier today, I think by Ariel Helwani, saying that Brian Ortega and Frankie Edgar is almost all but signed and official. And it also depends on where they're going to be placed on the card. I'm thinking it'll be main event. It's a decent main event. Brian Ortega and Frankie Edgar.
I don't know.
It?
I have a hard time finding a main event. I mean, it might be a main event for an FSN one card, but for a pay per view, I mean, it should be. I think that the UFC has all their marbles on International Fight Week. They want to have all 3 champions defend their titles. Just take one championship fight from that card, move it up to 220, have Frankie Edgar and Ortega be your co-main, and then build from there. I think that's a great idea. I think having Ortega and Frankie Edgar headline, and then having Arlovsky and those guys kind of be your undercard is not the best card, especially if you can have it in Vegas. I think since you can dedicate 3 super fights on International Fight Week, just take one super fight, put it in July. I mean, put it in that slot to replace Edgar and Holloway. That way the fans can get let's do a fight sooner than later. I
Yeah.
mean, sooner than wait until July, and then have your co-main event be Ortega and Frank Edgar,
Well,
and then build on that.
It might be too soon because you have 223 is in April, and that's going to be in New York. That's Ferguson, Khabib, Joanna, and Rose Namajunas. And then this weekend is UFC 221 with Rockhold and Romero, which is not the strongest card other than the co-main event and main event. But 222 is going to be in Vegas. That's March, early March. And there are talks of it being actually rescheduled or canceled completely because it's not, the cards is not strong enough, even with Frankie and Brian Ortega.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe do Cyborg and Amanda Nunes as your headliner.
You think it's too soon though because it's so far out in
that was scheduled.
July, June? June.
That was scheduled to win. That Frankie Edgar, Max Holloway.
Frankie Edgar, Max Holloway is for March.
And
May,
June.
And
that's a 3-month gap. Yeah, it's kind of maybe a little bit too soon, or maybe I don't know. Maybe just reschedule it because I don't think that to be in Vegas to have a headline fight like that. I don't see it as a headliner. I don't see tickets being sold that much.
No, it won't.
And then having a weak undercard like Goloski and Struve as a co-main event.
And Frankie is not a seller.
Even
Brian Ortega is barely coming into his own.
Yeah, I think both guys are not trash talkers,
and they're not strong enough.
They're gonna be
stars yet.
Exactly, and then they're not gonna be. They're gonna be very respectful. And then you have Struve and Goloski, which is not even, can't even be a main event on an FS1 card.
Mm-hmm.
They'll still be in the undercard. If you're gonna have a title fight for that card, I think it's just scrap it or reschedule it.
Yeah.
I see Frankie Edgar and Ortega be a co-main event because that'd be pretty much the number one contender fight. But you need a strong main event to sell tickets.
Yeah.
And to me, it's a great fight, but not strong enough to be a headline in Vegas.
Yeah, especially it being in Vegas. Like if it was like a small city, then maybe
a small market where people will buy tickets regardless of who's fighting.
Yeah, I think keep the card. I mean, if I was in town and I was living in,
or you can not have a pay-per-view and just have it on free television.
Yeah, but I think they already have it all. I don't know how that works in terms of them changing the format of how it's distributed.
They've done it before.
Yeah. I mean, if they go that route, it saves. People are gonna watch it for free. I'm sure the ratings will be good. There'll be a lot more viewers than people having to pay money. Definitely, people will not be paying money for it.
Yeah, because I think the standard UFC card without HD, which is everyone gets HD nowadays, like 60. So like you're
70 HD.
Yeah, I think 65 with HD.
70, 60, 70.
You're committing to like that much money for Edgar Ortega and Struve and Orlovsky fight. I don't think so.
Nope.
No one's gonna buy that card. It's gonna I don't know. It's gonna be the harder of the hardcores, and that's about it.
There's either scrap it or
put on free television.
Put it on free television.
I think you put it on free television. I think that's a worthy main event.
And it's at the T-Mobile Arena.
Oh yeah, good luck.
That place is gigantic.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Yeah, you can't sell out with those two guys.
No,
you need a strong main event.
Yeah, like that. That's a no. And I don't even know why they every time they go to Vegas now they just have it at the T-Mobile.
Which I hear that it's a horrible arena to cover as a media member.
Really? I don't know where do you sit? Do you sit up in the top?
No, like on the top. Remember, I think our friend Richard Hunter from CBS and Phone Booth Fighting told us that they're on top, way on top, and then for the press conference they're outside in a tent.
Oh, yeah, that's horrible.
So, because I guess T-Mobile didn't make a backstage area when making an arena. That's why the UFC hires an outside company to build a tent for them for the press conference.
And the media, I wonder why they do the whole media up in the almost like a baseball game.
Yeah,
like baseball has like all the
kind of skyboxes
and the skyboxes. Yeah.
So most of them are forced to watch the fights on their laptop
on the screen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's bad. It's a big arena. I mean, I wouldn't go there for a fight unless I'm like a lower level like section. I would not.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm like, I don't know why they keep going back there. I know it's a big arena; they want to keep their hold on it. But you have the MGM in Mandalay, where there was like anywhere you sit, great
Yeah, I mean
seating.
those are great arenas. I mean, we went to go see Rousey and McMahon fight at the MGM. It was great. Like our seats weren't the best, but we could still see
You see, yeah,
great.
yeah.
And then
Not at T-Mobile.
no, it's not only a large arena, but it's a very tall arena. So where you sit, it's gonna feel
Yeah,
tall.
yeah. But yeah, they got to figure something out with that because pay-per-view, Edgar Ortega, not a seller, free TV, yes.
Yeah, but
T-Mobile
on the
Arena,
flip
no.
side,
I'm like, I would
if
say
they
just cancel it all because even T-Mobile Arena
no,
on
you're
free
right.
TV,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because it might be great for the fans watching at home, but are they really going to sell tickets at a T-Mobile
they
arena
are
for that
not.
fight? There's no
The place is
way.
gonna be empty.
It's gonna have to. They're gonna have to turn off all the lights, so no one see the empty seats.
That place is gonna be empty. Yeah, and they're gonna have to pay
Scrap
all
it.
that money.
I say scrap it.
Scrap it.
If you can't book a good solid championship fight, scrap it.
Yeah, I mean that's a good solid number one contender, but still, no.
Yeah. Unfortunately for both those guys, they're not much. They don't have a mouthpiece. So
Yeah. All right, let's get to our first guest, our only guest of the show today, but it's a great one.
Yeah.
Drew Dober, UFC's Drew Dober. Have a listen to his interview if you're watching on YouTube. Check it out. So next up on the show, we have Drew Dober, UFC lightweight, recently welterweight, coming off a big win at UFC on Fox 27. Man, how you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Great. You know that fight was a pretty exciting fight. You guys went back and forth. He was pretty much counting your shots, but like you're like a Terminator, man, just going forward. Is there any injuries coming out that fight, or how do you feel after that exciting fight?
Just all cosmetic injuries, just like black and blue eyes that I feel like I still have one.
Yeah, you do. I can see that.
But I mean, my body felt like I was in a car accident, but nothing serious, like nothing that's keeping me out of training.
Nice. So at this last fight, you were at welterweight. Now you obviously had some discussions with the commission. They forced you to go up to welterweight. Tell us how that all went about in terms of like going back and forth with them, and did they pretty much forced you to fight at welterweight, right? Or how did it go on your end?
Yeah, so the California Athletic Commission, like after my fight with Berkman, they said that they highly suggest I move up to welterweight, and that's not a career move for me. So actually, I wanted to stay at lightweight. I had a couple offers at lightweight that I was able to take. I actually took this fight as a lightweight and actually signed the bout agreement.
Yeah.
But I guess the fight couldn't get licensed at 155, not because of me, but because Frank Camacho has missed weight a couple times.
Yeah.
And so I really liked the matchup. I think the fight had a lot of potential. So I just said I'd fight him at a catch weight. And so the UFC said, they didn't want to do a catch weight. So I said, I'll just fight him at welterweight then. Yeah. So,
that's how it went down. And today's MMA, it's becoming like the weight issues are a big issue in MMA today. How do you feel about commissioners pretty much not forcing you, but suggesting you to go up or down? Like, do you like that suggestion, or would you just have where like you can just weigh as much as you want?
So I mean, it's like a catch-22. Like, I appreciate the concern over the fighter's health, but I feel like these guys are not really educating themselves on like the process and the reason for it.
Right.
I've never missed weight, and then the way I cut to 55, like I'm perfectly fine. It's not unhealthy at all.
Right.
I personally think what would be unhealthy is if I stayed at 170 and fought guys that are like naturally walking around over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Like Tyron Woodley's a big dude.
Yeah.
So
I know.
I would love to, stay at welterweight and like not have to cut weight at all. But I mean, those guys are coming in like almost twice my size.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think lightweight is a pretty competitive weight class for me.
Yeah. And then the fight overall was great. I mean, obviously it showed in your conditioning how much better you were than Frank Camacho, and it was like I think that alone was like one of the biggest takebacks from that fight. That your conditioning was top notch, and it pretty much carried you the rest of the fight. Where with Camacho, man, he gassed halfway through the fight.
Yeah.
It was a tough battle. It was a tough battle. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have the privilege of training in Team Elevation in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like that might have helped, quite a bit. With Frank coming in from the Guam Islands, it's pretty much sea level. So that could have helped. And I didn't really change anything as far as like my conditioning, my diet, or anything like that. I trained like it was a lightweight bout.
Yeah.
And so I just did the road work. I did the conditioning. I did everything I needed to do. So I felt my conditioning was fine up until he found my body in like the last minute of the third round. Like he kicked me in the body like 3 times in a row. So that didn't feel great.
Yeah. And your post fight, like you really didn't mention what's next for you. Like, do you want to fight this year? And if so, against who?
I don't have really have any names, but I really would like to fight 3 more times this year. 2017, I only fought once. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
So I just want to stay active. Stay active at lightweight. And I'm kind of I'm a believer in it's not who you fight, but how you fight.
Yeah. Right.
So I care less of who they put in front of me. The only thing I care about is being a better fighter every time I get in the cage.
Yeah. What do you make of your division right now? Because you're one of the top names that people could throw out there and set up with the top contender and all that. What do you make of your division? It's a lot going on.
It's super stacked. I mean, there's tough guys from the top 5 all the way to guys just entering the UFC. So I just got to prepare myself for just going to war every single time I'm in there. I prefer like stand up, punch face battles that get another fighter a night.
Yeah.
So, I'd be looking forward to, getting like an Edson Barbosa or like guys that would just stand there and trade with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And your division is kind of weird because it's being held up by Conor. The UFC hasn't really officially, took his title away, which is kind of weird. Even though they have, but they haven't really said it. Do you consider Tony the champ, or do you still think Conor is a champ? And coming up is Ferguson and Khabib. Maybe your pick on that fight, and who do you think is going to win that fight between Ferguson and Khabib?
In my opinion, I think the winner of the Ferguson and Khabib fight will be the champion. I think whoever wants to wear the belt, whoever like claims to wear the belt, I think the most accomplished fighter in the division would be the winner of the Khabib and Tony Ferguson. And Conor's only fought in lightweight once. I mean, he beat the champion, so you can't argue that. But I think this interim fight and the interim champion has far more like prestige than Conor. How I think the fight would go down. I feel Tony Ferguson, even though he's found a way to win, he's been caught before. He's struggled a bit. Or Khabib, for some reason, he just looks perfect.
Yeah.
He doesn't lose.
He just mauls guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd probably put my money on Khabib.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You walked away with out of the fight, fairly unscathed. I mean, you don't really have any major injuries, right?
No, not at all. Just a whole lot of bumps and bruises, all over my body.
Do you think when are you aiming to return back into the cage?
Well, I just took like a week off, just hung out with friends and family, and so the fire and the hunger's back. So I'm gonna get back to Denver and get right back into training. So hopefully in 8 to 10 weeks, I'll be back in the cage.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. Like you've been a professional since what? I think 2009, right? Like you've been a professional fighter, and it's been what, like almost 10 years. Is your love for the sport still there, or is it kind of feel that? Because nowadays, especially with today's UFC, it's all politics and a bunch of guys kind of moving up because of their mouth, not because of their skills. Like is your love for the sport kind of dying down, or is it the same way?
I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, my love for martial arts, my love for competition, and my love for glory has not died down at all. I've hit a lot of bumps and obstacles in my path, but it just motivates me. Any mistake, any loss, any adversity just motivates me even more I know exactly what I want, and that is performing in front of the audience in the UFC and then trying to achieve that goal. And, still to this day, I'm just as enthusiastic as I was when I was 21.
Yeah. And in that span of time, what do you say one of the biggest lessons that you've learned since when you first became a professional and now till now?
So many lessons, so many lessons. Actually, probably the biggest lesson I just learned, as of recently, which was something I was doing in my early 20s, which is just enjoying the moment, enjoying what I do. Everyone, or I feel I was like dwelling on, losses, dwelling on, what's ahead of me, oh, look at this giant mountain that I have to climb. But I forgot, like, this is what I love doing. The sweat, blood, and tears is what I chose and what I absolutely feel passionate about. So when I fought Josh Berkman, I just took a moment to just enjoy being in the locker room, enjoy being in the pit, hearing my walkout, and just enjoying being under the lights.
Yeah.
And just kind of, So it really is just enjoying the journey. So instead of looking at the top of the mountain and just, when am I going to get there? Just kind of just enjoying, like, this is the process. This is what I love doing.
Yeah, and it must be like feel awesome knowing that there's like stability in mixed martial arts. Like you have companies like Bellator who offers a lot of money to their fighters, and you have the UFC. So it kind of gives you, it's kind of encouraging knowing that if things don't work out in the UFC, you could always go to Bellator. And I know once, like you formerly fought for Bellator a while back, along with Titan FC. Is there a chance that maybe you would want to leave the UFC one day and kind of go back to Bellator? And because Bellator is making big things right now.
I wouldn't say I want to. I got in this sport for more of like the glory, and I feel fighting in the UFC just has more of that prestige and just like that.
Definitely.
Yeah. But like worst case scenario, if I were to, get cut by the UFC and then, get signed with Bellator, I think that's where most of the sponsorship money is at.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool. I really admire Michael Chandler, and he's got a fight coming up. So it'd be such an honor to fight that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And you don't even necessarily have to be cut nowadays. People are just leaving. People are just heading over there, going free agent, getting on a win streak, going free agent. It's
sort of heard. That's what I've heard. But
yeah,
I prefer fighting in the UFC.
Yeah, there is a certain prestige. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, a fight between you and Michael Chandler would be awesome because Michael Chandler, I think, is one of the best lightweights outside of the UFC. Like, you can put him maybe top 5, and like his style and your style would be a pretty awesome fight to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I watch a lot of his like social media posts, and the dude's doing great, awesome things. So I'm excited to see him get that title back.
Awesome. So you got fight of the night last outing. What did you do with the money? Did you put into savings? Did you kind of go and splurge a little bit? Did you buy yourself anything?
I mean, I'm gonna try to save the hell out of it, and use it to create a cushion until my next fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I came back home and visited family, so I'm actually currently shopping for a car for my mother.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that's what I'm using the money for.
Yeah, what a nice guy. I have to ask you about this question. Like your thoughts on Ronda Rousey. She was the biggest name, besides Conor McGregor in the UFC. Now she's in WWE making a shit ton of money. Like your thoughts on her career move, and do you think that fans in MMA won't care about her wrestling career because how she left MMA?
It's disappointing her last 2 go-rounds in the UFC.
Yeah.
But now she gets to train and pretend to fight for a lot more money.
Oh, I know. So, isn't that crazy?
More power to her. She doesn't have to get punched in the face actually, and earn a lot more money.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great deal for her.
Yeah, it's crazy because a lot of people consider Dana White to be the best promoter, but I think Vince McMahon is, because if he can sell out the Dallas Texas Stadium on fake sports, that's crazy.
Yeah, people just love the
spectacle of it.
Testosterone, the soap opera.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you do it, man? That'll be a pretty cool move for you going to WWE.
That'd be extremely cool. I mean, if I get offered, I'll be on board.
Are you a fan of pro wrestling or not really?
I wouldn't say I dislike it, but I don't follow it completely.
Okay.
I've been to a couple live shows, and I don't mind watching it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Nice. Now you're an alumni of The Ultimate Fighter. It's kind of the feelings towards Ultimate Fighter have kind of gone down. The interest levels. What's your take on the show nowadays? And you think it still has any life in it to keep it going?
The last one was kind of, to me, it was a little disappointing. It wouldn't hold that same kind of interest and that same kind of excitement. Mm-hmm. The next one, they have a bunch of undefeated athletes. Yeah. Like all the guys that are going to get in the house, whatever, are going to be undefeated. So that'd be exciting. I don't know. I think when you go to the well too often, they're on their 20th season or something like that.
Yeah.
It just loses something. So they got to do something to spice it up, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe Tuesday Night Contender they will probably eventually replace the Ultimate Fighter sometime in the future. But if they ask you to do another show, I know you've been there before. I think it was 2015. I think you were on.
Yeah.
Would you do it again for maybe like a comeback show, and then I guarantee you some maybe like a title shot or more money?
Or even coach.
Or coach, yeah.
I think the coaching would be a lot of fun. That'd be super cool. I think I'd go on it again.
Yeah.
With the redemption season, one of my buddies, James Krause, was on it, and he's, that kind of story, that process.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I wouldn't mind doing that. That'd be really cool. Because plus you get to, fight. Was it 3 or 4 times in like a 6-week period?
That must be. I don't know how you guys do it, man. Cutting weight like each week, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think the cutting weight part would be the most difficult part for me.
That's insane. Yeah,
how was the process like that for you in the house? Did you cut a lot of weight? Did you kind of manage your time?
So I didn't make it into the house. I was just kind of like prepping.
Yeah.
So I lost on like the first episode.
That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But no, it's all right. I planned because the season that I was on was the live season, so you're there for 12 weeks, and so I was just kind of preparing my body to maintain a super low, like natural walking around weight. So I was doing like a ton of like morning, like fasted cardio to get my weight physically. So like lose muscle mass, lose whatever, just so I can, make weight numerous times if needed. Yeah. But luckily I didn't have to because I didn't make it in the house.
Yeah. With the live version, I always thought the live version, they should go back to the live version though. Like, I don't know if you have a similar feeling since you were on the live version. Did you like the live version?
I personally think it took away from learning the fighters' stories, because like the live version where it was exciting because you're like, oh man, it's happening right now as we speak. It kind of took away from that the editing or the production value of watching the guys in the house and like learning their story and stuff like that. I prefer the pre-recorded version, honestly.
Yeah, because people can get like invested and let them know your story. Yeah, and people like good storytelling. That's why WWE is so popular.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, do you have any outside hobbies that you have, outside of fighting? Like, do you go to the club and pick up on girls, or what do you do?
I'm honestly just a super nerd. So when it comes to me just chilling out on the weekend, trying to take my mind off fighting, it's usually coffee and books, or video games, or just wine and hanging out with some friends.
Nice. What's your go-to video game that you like?
I literally was just playing like literally all camp for my last one against Frank. I picked up Elder Scrolls Skyrim again.
Okay. Nice classic. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
I was just playing the crap out of that.
Hey, you have like Mighty Mouse and Rampage have Twitch, channels. What do you ever consider getting your own Twitch channel
for you, man? It's a great platform.
Possibly. I'm kind of like literally a nerd when it comes to like nerds, where I just play the games that are not like on like the online. I don't play the Call of Duty.
Okay.
I play like the RPGs and just keep to myself.
Okay. And nerds.
I picked up Call of Duty, and man, those little 10-year-olds just embarrassed me. So I didn't want to do it again.
I get nauseous, so don't feel bad. But but as far as nerds, like do you like comics, or just are you just talking about like just books in general?
Comics, books, magazines. I'm really into like fantasy and superheroes and stuff like that. Awesome. So I can nerd out pretty hard.
Ever been to Comic-Con or no?
I have actually twice, I believe.
Which one? San Diego one or which one? Because I know they have different ones in the area.
There was one in Denver, Colorado that I went to.
There you go.
Yeah. Because me and Josh are big like comic nerds, so
yeah. We'll be at the Comic Cons and all that all the time. So
sweet. If you ever pop in Denver, just let me know.
Yeah, dude.
For sure.
Hey, Fairy Comic, a Netflix show.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. What's my Netflix show?
Yeah, like your favorite Netflix comic show that they have right now.
Oh man, I haven't really gotten too much in because they have the Flash. I'm more of like a Marvel over DC.
Yeah. And
so they don't really have a whole lot of solid like Marvel.
Daredevil was great. Daredevil was probably number one.
Daredevil and Punisher.
Yeah, Punisher's really good too. You should check out both.
Yeah.
On Netflix. Yeah.
check it out. I ended up just literally browsing through Netflix, but never actually watching anything.
Yeah, you need to watch Daredevil. It's really good, and then Punisher is really, really good.
That's the
too.
problem. I spend most of the time just browsing the what's on there instead of watching.
And then getting tired. Never mind.
Yeah.
Man, well, we both really are happy to have spoken to you. Glad to have you on the show. We look forward to your next fight, whenever that will be.
Awesome.
Hopefully soon. It'll be awesome. Sometime in the summertime, maybe. But do you want to maybe let the fans know where they can find you on social media? Maybe some outside sponsors that it's not Reebok and all that.
So yeah, you can just find me like my tag or handle on every social media platform is just Drew Dober.
Nice.
And then not so many sponsors, but just shout out to my team, Team Elevation in Denver, Colorado. We're doing really big things. Next weekend we got Curtis Blade fighting Mark Hunt in the Perth card. So yeah, shout out to all my friends that punch my face on Monday through Friday.
Awesome. Well, Drew, it's been a pleasure, man, and it's good to see you. Someone like you who's been a veteran of the sport, fighting for such a long time, and having so success in 2018. Like we really appreciate that, and nothing but the best for you and your family as well.
I appreciate it, man, and thank you so much for enjoying my performances. I honestly. I fight for the audience, and so if I can get performance or fight of the night and have you guys getting all excited about it,
we're big fans, man.
Yeah,
we're
cool,
big
man.
fans.
I appreciate it.
All right, Drew, you take care, man. Have a good night.
Take care,
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
All right, see ya.
And that was Drew Dober, UFC welterweight, lightweight. Drew Dober, awesome, super. Couldn't be nicer.
Yeah, sweet guy, man. He's usually when you interview guys from the UFC, they're kind of like a rock star. This guy it's cool, man.
It's cool. Really nice guy. Super nice
really
guy.
appreciate his time.
Yeah, really awesome. Thank you for Drew Dober to be on the show. Awesome guy. Always would love to have him on again.
Yeah,
anytime. What else went on this week? It's a lot of stuff. Demetrius Johnson, TJ. You liking that fight? Who do you like? Those talks are coming up together. It looks like it's going to be an international fight week.
I think it's going to happen, and I think I don't know. I don't see anybody beating DJ right now.
Even
with TJ, because we've seen TJ fight guys like Dominic Cruz who are good with their feet, but I don't think he's ever fought someone with that kind of speed. And then DJ's so technical and fast, and I don't see anybody beating DJ.
Yeah, even TJ.
No,
I don't see him beating DJ. I think DJ would just. I don't. It's a really stylistically, that's a great matchup.
it's a close fight. I'm not saying that he's going to blow him out of the water. I can even see TJ winning if he lands a good shot.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen DJ in trouble or go against a hard hitter.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna pick DJ. I don't see TJ beating him in any way. That's gonna be really confusing with the TJ
thing. Yeah.
Tijuana, yeah.
I'm liking it. I hope they make it. It looks like it's gonna be one of those fights where they're gonna put it on International Fight Week.
Yeah, it's a 2 super fight.
Another one. I mean, this one is not really being talked about, but I wanted to bring it up. Fabricio Verdum is back on UFC Spanish commentary team. He's also Portuguese. He's Brazilian, but he speaks Portuguese fluent and also fluent in Spanish. Do you like them bringing back on Fabricio Verdum? Now, Fabricio, for those who don't really pay attention too much, he's a little bit of a controversial figure.
That's an understatement too.
Yeah, and he's also associated with some very controversial people. He's being funded in a way, like sponsored by the Chechnyan, president or whatever. I don't know what you call him.
Who's anti-gay?
Who's anti-gay? Is there are rumors of him having concentration camps of, rounding up, gay people and that are in their community over in Chechnya or whatever. This guy's is deeply involved in MMA. He's the Chechnyan. I'll call him dictator, or I don't know what you call him, prime minister.
Pretty much dictator,
president. Now he's deeply involved in MMA, and one of his only non kind of Russian type fighters that he sponsors is Fabricio Verdum, who has multiple times been called anti, homosexual and has made a lot of comments. And I know we were just talking about the PC stuff, but when it comes out over and over again from somebody, it's kind of it's kind of showcasing a little bit of who you are. If it's not the first, about his character, and it's not the first time with Fabricio. So do you like it? Do you like? Well, I mean, the fact that they still employ him in a lot of ways, they don't really ever reprimand him. They don't ever bring it up, and then now they're even giving him more responsibilities in the company. What do you think?
I mean, more privileges. I mean, more
privileges.
More job. I don't like it at all. I mean, we live in a country where Donald Trump is our president and someone who has no filter and doing all this. But then again, it doesn't surprise me. Like you see Dana White, he's a Trump supporter, obviously, and I mean, it just. I just think that Dana White doesn't. He has to say he's a public figure, so of course he doesn't say that those things aren't good. But I truly think that he feels the same way that a lot of these people feel. I don't like that Verdun should be on commentary or have any kind of opportunity to be in the public eye because of his past skeletons. I think recently he called Ferguson a gay. Term in Spanish.
Yeah.
Call him a maricon.
Yeah.
Which means, it's a homophobic term. Slur. So, I mean, I don't agree with it. I think he should be punished longer than he has because it just seems like the UFC pick and chooses who they want to punish and how long they want to punish him for. Verdun is one of those guys who they like, obviously, and they give him opportunity after opportunity. I don't think it's right. I think it doesn't look good for the company. It just shows that you can pretty much be offensive to anybody and so have a good paying gig. And I think that every consequence needs an action.
Yeah.
I mean, every action needs a consequence.
Yeah. And I know, that with Dana's a mixed bag, man. He seems like one of those guys that, and when you meet him, he's really cool, really down to earth, really nice person. He obviously gets along with fighters and people of all walks of life.
Yeah.
But he is a Trump supporter. And I know people may think that, if you're a fan of Trump, he's he is who he is and you may like it, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people who aren't, especially a lot of people who don't look like Donald Trump don't like what he has to say. And Dana's come out saying that he's a fan of him because he supported UFC back in the day, and I get all that. But there's kind of a thing where you should kind of like push back on some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth.
Or he can just be a supporter but not be so vocal about it.
Yeah, we're not to be so vocal about it. And it's weird employing and being associated with people that Trump, talks shit on and tries to like politically
divide,
divide. And this goes with Fabricio, and I'm like, I don't know why. No, not that many people are even talking about it, but I see it as an issue, and any other company I think would be a liability to have somebody like that, represent your company.
Your public company where eyeballs are on you, constantly.
Yeah,
and I always said that, and I've always believed that, by you accepting someone's behavior, it pretty much shows your character as well.
Yeah. So I mean, they're giving a controversial figure like Fabricio a lot of opportunities. What does that say about Dana and the company?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And Dana always talks about he wants the UFC to be taken seriously like a sports league. But if that's the case, then you need to act on it. There needs to be punishment for those who say those kind of things, because if me and you say those kind of things, we're not public figures. So, I mean, it's going to be going unnoticed. But
we say within the company, it's going to be an issue.
But people know who you are, and you're out there saying that or supporting a certain group. It's going to look bad in your company, but it seems like it doesn't bother them. So the whole thing is sad.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not really a fan of Fabricio.
Yeah, I've lost some respect. I used to like him, and I wish him. Yeah,
just his character, it really shows, and it's different than other fighters. Other fighters may not even, they may be fans of Trump or whatever, but they kind of just They do their thing.
Yeah.
They don't
They
really
don't mix politics with the sport.
Yeah, and they kind of just live their life and whatever. You know what I mean? Like a Tim Kennedy or a Cowboy. You still kind of like them, even though politically they're in line with somebody who is pretty.
And it's fine.
Piece of shit,
I mean, it's fine if you support whoever you want to support, but
kind of shows a little bit of who you are. But
who you are,
whatever.
but,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't rub it in people's faces. You don't express it out in your
But when you're the
everyday
boss,
life,
when you're the boss, and you're the head of these decisions making, being made, and you allow someone like Fabrizio Verdun to keep doing that and have opportunities, it just looks bad on you.
It looks bad. So I mean, any other company, I think Fabrizio would be a liability, but not so much in the UFC, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, in terms of fight picks, you got one big event this weekend. It's UFC 221. This is in Perth, Australia. Formerly, it was Luke Rockhold versus
Whitaker.
But Whitaker, obviously, with some illnesses and injuries, has to sit out. So it's Luke Rockhold, Yoel Romero, number one contender for an interim title. I don't know why they make an interim title. Just based on the card, basically. But I think this fight sells itself. The whole card is like okay, but Curtis Blades, Mark Hunt, co-main event, Luke Rockhold, Ray Romero. Let's go with the co-main event. Who do you have?
I want to say Blades because we had Drew and he's such a cool guy and he's teammates of Blades.
Curtis Blades.
I have to go Mark Hunt, man. I can't pick against Mark Hunt, even though. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Mark Hunt.
I like Curtis Blades. I think he's definitely if he keeps on the right track and does his right thing, even if he wins this fight, I mean, he's the future of the division. But Mark Hunt looked really good against Derek Lewis. I think he might do the same thing with Curtis Blades. I don't know. I'm probably gonna go with Mark Hunt. Yoel Romero, Luke Rockhold. This one's a tough one. It
is. We've seen Rockhold, be in trouble when taking on the ground.
Yeah.
With Chris Weidman, you saw that Weidman had control Rockhold a lot of times when he was on top, when Weidman was on top. I don't know. Yoel Romero is a big, scary guy, and yes, he's not the best standing up. But if that fight gets taken on the ground, I think it's Romero's fight to win. So on that fact alone, I'm going to go Yoel Romero.
For me, his explosiveness, and I think that's what everybody is his scariest quality, is his explosiveness, because it's just he's like this, and then bam, he just he'll throw a flying knee or do whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And he's a big, strong guy.
Yeah, but I like Luke Rockhold in this fight. I would like to see him against Whitaker, see how that goes. We've seen against Yoel Romero against Whitaker. Kind of leaning more towards Rockhold, based on the fact that Yoel Romero is not so much the quick finisher, but when he does hit, it may be later in the fight, and he'll hit with something devastating and just take him out. But if Rockhold could keep busy, do what Whitaker did in their fight, and just keep Yoel Romero's pacing and his where he wants it to be, I think Rockhold could probably win the fight, and he's no slouch on the ground. He's top notch. So we'll see.
Good fight.
But that's our show. Thank you to Drew Dober, and thank you guys all for watching. Go to themmacomplex.com for everything MMA Complex.
And as always, you can follow us on social media. You can follow me on Twitter, MMA Complex James, JAYMZ. You can follow him on Twitter, MMA Complex Josh. Of course, you can follow the show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all under the MMA Complex. Jump on YouTube, subscribe on the YouTube page, and give this show a 5 rating star to help the show get noticed. So it's going to be an exciting week with a fight with Rockhold and Romero. Next week, on next episode, we're going to break that fight down. So until then, enjoy the fights and enjoy the week.